I was up and down pretty much all my life. I was a athlete in high school and in college. In 2020, I retired from essentially everything to support my kids, and then the weight ballooned up. And then when I went to a doctor's appointment, just a random doctor's appointment, the blood work came back alarming. And then my physician immediately said, "Hey, it's time for cholesterol medicine. It's time for blood pressure medicine."
Hmm.
And I said, "You know what? I'm not even 50 years old yet. This isn't right. This isn't supposed to happen." And then that was the wake up call. That was
Mhm.
it. And at that point, I said, "Listen, I got to make some changes and make some lifestyle changes." And a colleague of mine at work is about a year ahead of me, and I saw his changes, and I said to him, I said, "Listen, man, give me some advice. Give me some advice on what to do." And I was expecting him to say, "Okay, go run. Stop eating this and start lifting this." And the first thing he said is, "No, no, 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 dude. These are the people you want to reach out to." And that's where I came to you guys. People around me, they notice it, they see it, and the first thing I say to them is that you got to be dedicated. You got to make sure that you stay committed. Anybody can lose weight. The hardest part is changing the life to make sure the weight doesn't come back. I think in my life, it's impacted my wife. She has actually lost about 30 pounds as well.
Wow. I
Wow.
did not know that.
Now, my son, he comes home every day from school and he goes right downstairs and works out. And, he's in ninth grade. My daughter recently joined a gym. So, uh,
Wow.
Nice.
Dude, you're
she says,
changing the family tree.
That is amazing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess family wise, it's kind of hard not to have an impact on the people that you live with.
Hmm.
People that I work with is the same way. And that's where, I was with my colleague.
What had you tried in the past to diet to lose weight?
Well, in the past, I know you guys are going to cringe on this, but when I was refereeing lacrosse, someone once told me that you can't have overweight people on television. So what they would tell me is that, there was something called a GM diet, where it's basically protein. And General Motors used to ask their employees to do this. I tried that. Weight came right back on. I tried the whole Atkins thing where you just eat nothing but protein. I like protein; it's delicious. The weight came off, but it comes right back on again. I've tried those other things in the past, and they've always been temporary.
Hmm.
And when I met with you guys, I kind of knew this in the back of my head, but you emphasized it. It's not so much a diet because anybody can diet. It's a
Hmm.
lifestyle change that's going to cause the long-term impacts to health and activity and nutrition. My dad passed away in 2018, and he did not have a very healthy lifestyle. And it impacted him later in life. And one of the things that I realized is there's a difference between, like, I guess you would say, being alive and living.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I decided that I want to live for a long time, and I don't want medication to help me do that. It's going to happen someday. I get it, but not today. And I also want to be around for my kids and grandkids when the time comes. So what keeps me focused and motivated is that whenever you think that, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, I just kind of want to quit, you have to remember why you started. And I started because I want to live a good lifestyle for my kids so that I'm around when I'm 80 or
Mm-hmm.
90.
Hmm.
Let's go back to that doctor's visit in 2021. How have subsequent doctor's visits since then gone?
They've been my doctor is actually he's he's quite shocked, quite honestly. my,
Let's
my
get him on the program.
yeah, yeah, he's a pretty healthy guy, and he after that 1 year, I think the first blood test that I had that caused a lot of alarms. I believe the number was 184, which my cholesterol, and the ideal range is supposed to be between 80 and 105. So he basically said, "Look, dude, you're about like 90 points over where you're supposed to be." I went back a year later. My cholesterol went from 184 down to 102.
Wow.
I
So,
remember
and
we celebrated that.
yeah, it went down, and of course I also lost about at the time about 35 pounds. I think it's now like 45 pounds or something like that.
Hmm.
And the physician says, "You know what, dude, let's we don't need to talk about medication ever again."
That's so great.
That is.
Talk about like the way that all this consistency you put in is like translated into like your physical ability.
It's quite amazing. When I was a lacrosse official, I ran because I got paid. Now I run because I like to.
I remember back when we started working together, you were back in the other room of your gym with just like a single dumbbell we were practicing doing some goblet squats. You know, that's kind of like where you started. And now you're squatting with the barbell, you're deadlifting with the barbell, you're, you know, bench pressing with the barbell, you're signing up for a 10-mile race. It's really cool to see how far you've come in just your training side as well.
I haven't been able to bench press my weight since college, and I did that the other day.
Yeah.
So cool. Do you remember like what your deadlift reps have been at lately?
I think we maxed out about 2 weeks ago, and I think
Mhm.
it's about 260 on the deadlift.
Yeah.
What do you
Mhm.
say to that person who's afraid to start?
Don't be afraid. I mean, what I would say is that you got to do a little bit of internal soul searching, and if this is something that we want to do, you can do it.